It's that time of year again. Call of Duty is the new Call of Duty, I should say, is in beta and it's on the horizon. It's about to come out, and we're at that point in the COD cycle where you have people talking about how Call of Duty's back and this is going to change the direction of the franchise and this and that and the third. We know how this goes. Look, if you're excited for the new Call of Duty, that is great. Me personally, I think it's biologically impossible for me to get excited for a new Call of Duty game. Like, my brain chemistry simply won't allow it. I don't know how you guys see a new Call of Duty release at this point and don't feel your soul being drained from your body. And that is coming from somebody who used to play every single Call of Duty religiously. Anyways, this video isn't going to be dunking on people who still play Call of Duty or are excited for it. We're going to talk about reality, and the reality that Call of Duty probably won't be around much longer. And I know that's crazy to say. You guys are like, no, it's a multi-billion-dollar game franchise. It's going to be around forever. And it's definitely got some steam left, but we are at the point where I personally do not think that a Call of Duty game will be profitable moving forward. BO6 was the last profitable game, and ever since then they have been on a decline in revenue and profit. They had a little spike when they released BO1 and BO2 because people love those games, but they can only re-release so many old games. I guess the original games, if you want to count them bringing back like maps and stuff as re-releases, I guess that counts. But they can only re-release core games for so long and bring that money in. As far as new releases go, I don't know if it's possible for these guys to make money on any new releases. And once again, before you comment, let's work out some math here. Okay, so the new Call of Duty is estimated to be about $1 billion in total investment. You can see the breakdown here. About $1 billion of total investment, meaning they're going to have to make more than $1 billion on this game. Now, the highest grossing, or in other words, most profitable Call of Duty was Black Ops 6. Black Ops 6 is a weird anomaly because they pretty much just fooled everyone. We all got on Black Ops 6 thinking Call of Duty was changing, and then they fooled us all, and then nobody hopped on Black Ops 7, which was an absolute stink fest, all right? So BO6 is the highest grossing game of all time. And like I said, they tricked everyone with that game. They bamboozled everyone, including myself. And that's the vibes I get from the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. Except I don't think Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 is going to be able to top these numbers. Because when we look at how much BO6 costs to make, it comes out to about $700 million. Which is still really expensive, but, Modern Warfare 4, the new one, looks like a way more expensive game. And over time, since BO6, consumer trust and customer trust has eroded. They have pretty much ostracized their entire player base, man. The people who came back for BO6 and actually got excited for it, like that just felt like such a slap in the face, man. We got a good zombie map at launch. We got some decent multiplayer, an okay campaign, and it was kind of fun. And then the subsequent updates after just were not it, and then everyone eventually just hopped off. And now you have people like me who that was the last like big Call of Duty we played, and we're looking at Modern Warfare 4 and we're like, this is definitely going to be the same situation. Okay, so realistically, right, you basically you basically slap your core customers in the face, and they don't ever want to come back. Some of your most hardcore players and content creators don't ever want to come back. And the next title you release after that is one of the most expensive in the entire franchise, which then means that this game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, needs to be peak. It needs to have the most players on it ever. And this game has a very mixed reception. So is that going to happen? Probably not. The reception being mixed, you can talk about it however you want. There's going to be some people that enjoy this game, but the fact of the matter is this game cannot be mixed in the community with the amount of resources they have poured into it. And this game might be good, but like I've said before, with BO6 specifically, they permanently just lost a ton of players, man. They lost a ton of players. And a lot of people are beating the same drum that I am talking about right now. They say this every year, that Call of Duty's on the decline and they're not going to be able to recapture new players, which that has been true. Like, Call of Duty is a massive franchise and they have a massive company backing them, which means they have a ton of resources. But the data proves that Call of Duty has been on the decline in terms of popularity and revenue, with the exception of BO6. Like I said, that was an exception. That was kind of like their last shot, and they blew it with their core customers. They totally lost a ton of people. So, that's not necessarily a wrong assumption to make, because I know there's going to be people in the comments of this video talking about, well, Call of Duty, how are they able to make a new game every year? We're watching the erosion of this company happen slowly year over year with each release. And I want to bring up the point, like, what's going to save them at this point? Like I said, BO6 was the last-ditch effort. That was truly, I believe, their last shot to prove to people that this is a franchise that's worth revisiting every year and playing new titles every year. And it just wasn't it. And with that being their last shot, now they're kind of on their last stand. And then when you factor in what I just talked about with the fact that there are competitors that are getting better at competing in the space with Call of Duty. For example, Battlefield 6. Now, I know Battlefield 6 had its own issues and it wasn't perfect and it did lose players over time. It still ate Call of Duty's lunch in 2025. It blew BO7 out of the water and took a majority of the audience. And now we are seeing War Dogs, another military FPS game, come in and actually genuinely compete with Call of Duty and take core players away. And like I said, okay, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 is going to have an active player base, but an active, reasonable player base is not enough for them to make a profit, which is ultimately what matters. I don't know if it's possible for Call of Duty to make a profit when new competitors are entering the space and your products are getting more expensive to make and produce while your player count is declining over time. Like, these are the facts. And for those of you that are deniers with my point in this video, you might be sitting there saying, well, Call of Duty might have a declining player base and they might need to turn a profit. It might be hard moving forward for the next few years, but they'll find something. They'll find a new idea to innovate on. They did it with Warzone, right? They can bring something back. Okay, what are they going to bring back? The Battle Royale wave was a rare exception that just happened. It kind of saved them low key. That just happened. What else is Call of Duty going to do to bring something new to the table that is going to bring in record player counts and revenue again, besides nostalgia baiting and getting people worked up for Modern Warfare 72? What are they going to do? Because the data is showing that their current strategy is not working. Like I said, BO6 was the last stand. They cannot continue to nostalgia bait because that's not going to bring in record revenue anymore. We're getting to that point. Warzone was another peak for them in terms of revenue, and that's because the Battle Royale craze was insane, and they were one of the first to the table to compete with Fortnite. What else are they going to do? We just had the extraction shooter wave, and they tried to play in that space with DMZ, and that did not work out. DMZ did not have an active community, and it did not bring enough people in like they thought it was going to be. Like a lot of developers think extraction shooters are going to be, like, it just did not hit the same. So what is Call of Duty going to bring to breathe new life into the business and into the community and in terms of like the player count? Like, what are they going to do? Yes, they've done it in the past, but I would argue we're at the point where they're running out of options here. There's not a new Battle Royale wave on the way. There's not an extraction shooter craze that they can capitalize on. There's no way to innovate on the FPS formula, to be completely honest. Maybe I should rephrase that last part. There's no way for Call of Duty to re-innovate and revitalize their version of the FPS genre. Because like I said, a game like War Dogs is incredible. I've also been playing a lot of Hell Let Loose Vietnam. Incredible. Very different from the typical Call of Duty experience. In Call of Duty, I feel like they don't want to stray from that experience at all. They want to deliver their core experience because that's what they think they're known for, which it is to an extent, but people are tired of it. That's what the data is showing. Anyways, you can disagree with me, and I know there's going to be people who disagree with me and say that we have this same conversation about Call of Duty every year. And you're right, we do. But over the last few years, we are, like I said, we are slowly watching the decline happen in real time. With collapses like this and with, a loss of power in a market like this that Call of Duty has, we're not going to just wake up one day and it's like, well, they're going out of business. That's not how it's going to be. It's going to be a slow decline over like a decade because this is a company with a bunch of capital behind them. And we're watching that in real time. There might be small spikes of life here and there, like Black Ops 6, but when we look at the way things are going, it's not looking too good. If I were to expect anything moving forward, I would expect them to re-release some of the most beloved games in the franchise, like they did with BO1 and BO2, because they know that those are going to bring in money. Like, I could totally see them bringing back, like, the OG Modern Warfares to PS5 and putting up multiplayer servers so that they can, get in some cash on that, maybe make each game like $40, pretty much similar to what they did with Black Ops 1 and 2. I would expect that moving forward. And I made a video talking about how them putting Black Ops 1 and 2 on PS5 has been in their back pocket for a long time. It's a risk management strategy for them. They are withholding things like the OG Modern Warfares in their back pocket to re-release. They're holding that in their back pocket because it's a risk management strategy. They know that if things fall through with this most recent Call of Duty and they need some cash to make up the $1 billion investment, they can, boom, pump those out and they can get some quick cash reserves to flood in. And I mean, you can't obviously do that forever. At some point, that's going to buy you time, but at some point you need to come out with a new product that's going to bring in record revenue and player counts. And this year, and the way things are looking moving forward, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Like I said, you absolutely cannot deny these logistics. This is math, and this is basic business here. Anyways, this video shouldn't make you depressed if you're a Call of Duty fan, and I'm not trying to dunk on you guys once again, because these things that I'm saying, it's coming from somebody who loves the franchise. Like I said, when BO1 and BO2 came out, man, I played the crap out of those. And I still do, actually. Like, those are forever games for me. They're amazing. I love Call of Duty. Call of Duty has some amazing titles. I just hate the way that the franchise is going. And you can't ignore the elephant in the room that this franchise cannot keep going on like this. At some point, this party's got to end. But listen, that shouldn't depress you. If you like Call of Duty and you're a big fan, you don't need to just drop the game and never play it again or whatever. There's a ton of alternatives out there that are a ton of fun. Or just play other games, man. Like, that too. There's going to be the argument that people bring up, like, oh, well, the new Call of Duty isn't fun because the nostalgia of the old ones, makes us have rose-tinted glasses and we can't get excited for new Call of Duty anymore because we have families and we have responsibilities and we just don't get excited anymore. And like, yeah, the family, the responsibility things, that's true. But after re-experiencing Black Ops 1 and 2, like, I don't think it's rose-tinted glasses. I genuinely think that these games are objectively better than the new ones. Like, maybe the new ones look better, but in terms of gameplay loop, map design, characters in the campaign, you name it, zombies, the old one's clear every time. I don't think it's a nostalgia sort of thing. I think that's the case sometimes, but I do think that this franchise has declined in quality year over year. That's very apparent. Anyways, what do you guys think? Because ultimately, that's what matters. I'm one dude with one opinion. I would love to hear what you think. Please comment down below and drop a sub if you enjoyed the video. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.